I would like to call to order the Board of Zoning Appeals of the City of Decatur meeting for October 1, 2019. We've got a little housekeeping business to take care of. The minutes of the previous meeting were distributed to each of you via email. I hope that you have read them, and if you're ready to approve them, I'd like a motion for approval of the minutes as distributed.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved as distributed. Send this down to Mr. Haggard, please, for his review. I just distributed proof of publication is made a matter of public record that this meeting was advertised in the local media for public notice. Bill's already seen them. As soon as Mr. Haggard reviews them, I've already looked at them. Alrighty. We'll do that as a separate line item. Do I have a motion to approve the proof of publication as distributed?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, the proof of publication is distributed, is approved. Additionally, I have an affidavit that was distributed to the surrounding property owners of Mr. Roger Bittner that notified them of this meeting, and everybody's had an opportunity to see that. I would like a motion to make that a matter of record.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor,
Aye.
say aye. Aye. Okay, so that's 3, 3, and 3 to make those a matter of public record. I would also like to make a clarification. We only have 3 members of the BZA here this evening. That does constitute a quorum. I, as the chairman, normally don't vote, but I have to vote since we only have 3 members here in order to have a quorum vote. So I will be voting on what we're hearing tonight. This afternoon, Mr. Roger Bittner is requesting a special exception to build an accessory building prior to a primary structure at 510 East Monroe Street, Decatur, Indiana 46733. Refer to City Code 150.040, uses permitted under accessory building. Mr. Bittner, would you come up to the table and identify yourself for the meeting? Your name and address, please, sir. It doesn't look like it.
It is on.
Okay, Roger Bittner, 104 Harvester Lane, Decatur, Indiana.
Yes, sir. Would you please identify what your application is this afternoon?
What it's for?
Yes.
It's, I want to build a shed, a 12 by 16 shed on the property 510 East Monroe. I bought that property a couple of years ago and I tore down the house. So it's not there, just a vacant lot that I mowed, but it butts up to my property. So I want to put up a utility shed, garage, whatever.
Okay, and I want to make a clarification at this point, per the recommendation of the city building inspector, director, Kurt, that this is a pre-made building that's going to be delivered on site. Do you have any additional information that we need to consider?
No, not really. Since he owns a lot next to him, he will have to maintain setbacks on any surrounding properties that he do not own. But as far as this is one property and this is your other property, where it's placed here doesn't matter. He will not be required a full permit because it's not going to be a fixed or permanent foundation.
Kurt, thank you very much for that clarification. Do we have any questions from the board for Mr. Bittner?
I have none.
No.
I have no information. Okay, or no additional information. With that, do we have anybody in attendance that is in opposition to this application? Seeing and hearing none, do we have anybody that would like to support this application for Mr. Bittner? Hearing none, do we have any additional questions or observations from the board?
No, I think it looks, I think your neighbors are happy there. That I talked to one last night, and they're pretty happy that that house is gone, that you tore the house down and made it real nice there for a nice place for you to have a storage shed. And they're the one right behind you, right behind on on the alley there.
Oh, Earthquaker?
Yeah, I don't know the name, but I was looking at it last night, and they were real happy the way you're taking care of it and everything, so thank you for taking care of your property like that.
Yes,
I
Kurt?
have a question, for my own clarity. If we approve this for Mr. Bittner, going forward, let's say later on down the road, he decides to remove the shed and actually do something on, say, put up a real garage on a foundation, would he have to come back in front of the DDA again?
Yes,
Yeah.
So it-
because this isn't a
follows the
permanent,
building.
right,
Follows the building.
right.
Okay.
Yep. Because now you're talking about changing it from a not a permanent structure to a permanent one. Okay. One thing that I would also, I mean, Mr. Bittner, would you ever be inclined to sell the adjoining property but keep this one separate?
I'm gonna keep both lots separate, I'm not gonna join the one. I don't have any intention of it, selling it, but, you know.
Okay, well, you know, you can put conditions on granting this, so I don't know if it's a concern on your part, so I just bring it up that if, for example, the adjoining property were sold, then Mr. Bittner no longer owns that property, he owns this one with the shed on it. And it's my understanding your intent is not to put a permanent building on there for habitation, correct? Okay. So, you know, if you could do one of two things. You could say that if this is a concern, and it may not be on your part, so I just bring it up for you to consider. You could say that either the structure would need to be moved from the site if the adjoining property is sold, or you can't sell one lot without selling both together.
Okay, in response to that, since it is a temporary movable building, I don't see that as a concern.
If it were a permanent
If
structure.
it were a permanent
If it were.
structure, I would think
I agree.
that would be handled differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Kurt, thank you for that. There's an additional point that I discussed with Kurt earlier today that I want to get as part of the record. My question was, currently there's no curb cut from that lot onto Monroe Street. And if we were on a right-of-way that was controlled by the state or another entity, they would have to approve the curb cut. When I asked Kurt about how the city takes care of that, he said that would be up to the street department, and that if you wanted to go ahead and put access to Monroe Street, you would have to get that approved by the City of Decatur Street Department. So I just wanted to get that written into the record in case you wanted to do that in the future, if you had any questions about that.
There was a driveway there, but there's like a curb cut that goes up the old driveway, but
That's fenced off right now, isn't it? Okay.
I got fence all the way around.
So as I said, I did not see an active curb cut, and I wanted clarification on how that was handled for my information as much as getting it read into the record. Anybody on the board have any additional questions? Anything from the city attorney beyond what you've already said? And Mr. Baker, can you just do a real quick what a special exception is in this instance?
Okay. Under the code, you're not allowed to place a temporary or accessory building on the property before a primary structure. In other words, typically, this kind of a building would be put on the property once a home is there. There's not a home there currently. You don't anticipate putting one there. So the special exception permits or allows for the property to be used for the purposes Mr. Bittner described without a permanent home being on the property first. And that's the purpose of this.
And to clarify, does the special exception expire if and when Mr. Bittner sells the lot?
The special use exception doesn't necessarily expire. As long as he sells the property, that follows the property as long as it's used in the same way. Now, if Mr. Bittner or some subsequent owner decided to take that off and wanted to put a garage up, then that's a different matter.
Okay, so the special exception goes with the property as long as the use is the same.
Correct.
Thank you for that clarification. I see Mr. Meyer, the mayor, sitting in the audience. You have any observations? Okay, anything from the building department?
Other than if he does sell the property, he will have to let the new owners know that if they remove the sheds and special exception, he's gone.
Okay. Mr. Bittner, any questions before we go on?
The setback for the property line, 10 foot, either way. Not, if I say, can I go a little bit further if I want to, or do I have to stay 10 foot period?
As long as you're 10 foot from the property line, you need 20 foot, you need 25 foot.
Okay. So I'm not necessarily locked into 10 foot, but it's got minimum 10 foot.
Minimum 10
So
foot.
if I want a 15 foot, or 15, now, could I put it maybe on the other end?
Yeah, as long as you maintain 10 feet from your neighbor's property.
Well, I know where I'm going to put it. My wife wants it some other place.
That this board has no control over.
Well, it'll probably go the way I got it split up right here, so it's fine. I just want to make sure.
I mean, you can, as far as the two adjoining properties, if you want to be right on the property line, you can straddle the property line. It's just, you have to maintain 10 foot from your neighbor's property.
I'll just go 10 foot from the property line of that lot in each direction there. So keep everybody happy, so.
All right. Is the board ready to hear the special exceptions?
Yes.
Okay, I will read these special exceptions, and then we will poll the board. Yes means you agree with the application and the special exception. No means you disagree, and we'll want to record the reason that you disagree. It has to be unanimous because we only have 3 members in attendance this evening. The first special exception item, the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the special exception will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare.
Yes.
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 3 yes. The special exception will be not injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor substantially diminish and impair property values within the neighborhood.
Yes.
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 3 yes. The establishment of the special exception will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the district.
Yes.
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 3 yes. Adequate utilities, access road, drainage, and other necessary facilities have been or are being provided.
Yes.
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 3 yes. Item number 5. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress or egress so designed to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets.
Yes.
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 3 yes. The special exception will be located in a district where such use is permitted and where all other requirements set forth in 150263 applicable to the special exception will be met.
Yes.
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 3 yes. It is therefore the decision of this board that the petition for special exception is granted or denied.
Granted.
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 The petition for special exception is granted. Any restrictions placed on this special exception?
No.
With no restrictions. And Mr. Bittner, thank you very much. Good luck with your project.
Okay. Now, when can I get started on it?
Good for you, you don't need full permit, you
Do
start.
I need any paperwork or anything to get started or anything like that? Or?
No, you're good.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you, ladies, for helping me out. You helped me out a lot.
Mr. Hager,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
and you grabbed all
I've
of
got it right
the
here.
publications and stuff, okay?
Yep.
After concluding the business of Mr. Bittner's application, do we have any other old business?
No business on our end.
What?
No business on our end.
Okay.
New business, there will, November 5th, there will not be a meeting. There will be,
I was going to say, we got notice this morning,
17th.
17th of, well, it depends on whether we're talking October or November.
October 15th.
Okay.
Nothing? Okay.
Art flash, or flash art is coming in, a gentleman and his wife on 5th Street started a business. They're running it out of the garage. We just use a CNC machine to cut metal and make signs. We put a halt to it for the time being. But they will be appearing to get a variance to be able to do a business from their home.
And that meeting date is when?
November 5th. That's election day. Does that get in the way? Okay, I have some questions about that. The sign ordinance was revised, amended, changed over the past year. Were there any changes made that directly relate to a sign at a home-based business that we need to take into consideration?
I believe it was updated, but we can get information from it.
Okay. If we can get that in advance, that would be very helpful, so we don't get surprised when they ask about putting up a sign at their home-based business. So if that has evolved, changed, I think we need to know about that in advance. Any other new business? Okay, and is this potentially the last meeting that Sharon's going to be attending? Well, thank you very much. It has been a great opportunity to work with you over the past almost 20 years that I've been doing this. You've never once laughed when I called and asked a question, and you had every opportunity to do that.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor and a privilege to work for you guys.
It's, for me, Sharon's been here almost as long as I've been in practice. That's really an accomplishment. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. But I've never, ever found her not to be very kind, very helpful, and she's a great face for the city of Decatur in terms of dealing with people. So, and sometimes she has to deal with some people that aren't very pleasant. So, and you know, for Sharon's sake, just so because you had to put up with Roger and now Kurt for the years that you have, just keep in mind that they paved your way to heaven. So.
And Jack Gaffer and...
Well, that's true. That's true. It's, yeah, you've been a big help. And a lot of people don't know, but Sharon does an awful lot of help to the mayor in terms of proclamations. And she was a huge help to me a few years ago when we did the adult sexual-oriented business. That's a lengthy ordinance, and Sharon...
And Sharon did the research.
I did the research, but Sharon put up with a lot of changes.
Did the research, okay.
Sharon did a lot of changing on that ordinance and typing and retyping, and I couldn't have done it without her. So, anyway.
Well, again, thank you very much, Sharon. Any other business before the board this evening? If not, do I hear a motion to adjourn? Seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.